Okay, let's go live. James speaking, trainingsites.io. If you're learning about all of the best prompts to use in 2025, they're probably a waste of time for 2026. And I want to share why and how you can make sure that you're best positioned for anything in the AI space, whether it be starting building an education business, like what we teach at trainingsites.io, or if you are basically using AI in any part of your life. What am I talking about? Why is it important? Well, it's called natural language prompting, and it is something that is going to be the go-to skill. It's like, I think the gold standard for anyone who's an AI expert in 2026 is if you can get a handle on natural language prompting, you're going to be able to basically get anything that you need to get done by AI. Now, what is it? How does it work? Where does it fit in? If you look back and say, how did we get kind of started with this? And this was like end of 2024, beginning of 2025. And even if I go look on YouTube today, or if I go to my inbox, there's all sorts of people talking about prompt engineering and how to create the best prompt. Or here's my list of the top prompts for doing this. And you can get all sorts of them. In fact, you can create whole libraries of prompts for specific responses. And while those are really important, there's a huge problem with them, especially moving forward in 2026. And what is that? It is that we don't talk to AI anymore by a text prompt. In the beginning of the year, 2020, we had Google came out with Flash 2.0, which introduced multimodal interface to AI. And if you haven't done that, I've done videos on all of these ones, but just remember with aistudio.google.com, you can select stream here on the left-hand side, and you can verbally talk, show the camera through this is on your phone too, not only on AI Studio, it's in Gemini Live on your phone right now. Share the screen, but you had multiple modalities of communication were now available. So we went from a text box to all of this digital context through the screen, through the camera, through the voice. And even, if you think about what's happening this week at Apple, next week at Meta, 3 weeks ago at Google, all of the physical devices that we have are now going to be able to provide physical context about where we are in time and space. So we've got this digital context, we've got the physical context, and we've got text prompts. No, I don't think so. Natural language programming is all about those communication skills that often get forgotten or had been forgotten. We're coming back to a place where it's your ability to be crystal clear about what it is that you want and being able to communicate that to AI. That's the part that I think is the real value. That's the go-to skill, because even if it has to do with creating course content or content, whether it be the administration part of a business or the interfacing that you do with customers and the admin stuff or marketing part, all of that stuff can be done by AI in 2026 if you can explain clearly what it is that you want by having a conversation with your employee. It's not about you having to figure out or have a list of the best prompts. This is all about 2026, when you're just going to be able to bring someone into the office and say, look, I've got a job for you. It's the I've got a job for you thing. And the best part is these jobs are not one text prompt, get one response, and then try and hook them together. These are complete jobs that we can hand off. And this is easy to see now in 2025. We still got 3 or 4 months, and it's happening so quickly. Just in the last week, for example, we had one from Opal, and there's all sorts of tools around here. So just as an example on Opal, which is their Google's own mini app agent, they're calling. And remember, an agent is just being able to take a whole bunch of prompts and basically put them together for a specific result. And remember, we can have multi-agents now, which are already out. But this is a simple one where you can just either text it in or narrate what it is that you want this employee to do. Whether in my case it was being able to take a YouTube video and create a use case example from it. So can I explain that to someone, what I want? what needs to get done? Or am I going to find my perfect prompt to be able to do that? Or I'm going to be able to have a conversation with my employee. Now, the conversation may take a couple times, and it's a conversation that's iterative. It's not something you just do once, like a prompt, and use it over and over again. This is something that is flexible, that grows and changes just the exact same way as if you had an employee that you just started with and you get to know each other a little bit. You find out what one way it gets done, what a way if you like it or don't like it. You learn from the employee, it learns from you. And again, it's something that it allows you to leverage and offload all of these things that you really, really didn't want to do in the first place. So these are the kind of things that are already happening. And what I did do for you, if you haven't already, let me just pull this up. I just want to make sure I have the example of it here. I did put together, here it is here. So I did put together, I have a whole bunch of notes and documents for this. So I did put together a go-to-skill PDF that's here that you can download and work through. And again, this whole thing about clear, and again, I'll just talk about it briefly. I use an acronym called CLEAR. There's a variation of this by a librarian actually in 2023, and I believe his name was Dr. Leo Lowe, and he was doing about this prompting stuff, but he was a librarian, so he has a lot of understanding about organization and context, and he was trying to put together a bit of a framework for making sure that you could give a prompt. In our case, we're using it for AI, but it was about clarity, logic, examples, adaptation, and results to make this practical. So it's like you got to make sure that you can make precise requests in plain language, talking, multimodal. You have to break it down into conversational steps. It's not a here's a written prompt, do this. It's like, hey, this is what I'd like to get done. Is that a good way? What do you think? A back and forth with the employee. Here's the way I normally do it. Do you have a better way of doing it? So breaking it down into steps. And remember, it's not a prompt for one step. It is a prompt for, I want you to create a course. The course has these many lessons, these many topics, these quizzes. It's for this particular piece. It's of this length. It includes these things. The more specific about a complete task that it is that you want, if you can explain that in logically formatted about the way that the steps in the process works, it's there. You can give examples about what you want to see happen and what you don't want to see happen. If you want it to look like something else or not look like something else. And these are providing guardrails for your employee. And then being able to have that back and forth dialogue where you're actually adapting. And remember, if you have an employee at the start, you just don't go, here, go do it, and then check at the end. And they bring it back and say, no, I didn't mean to do it that way. Or no, don't do it that way. Or why did you do that? Talk. And if you've been using any of the AI tools that are doing the vibe coding stuff, a lot of them will lay out right now. And again, I've done a number of videos on them. And in as much as it was important before, it's becoming less important. It would come up with a plan on how it would do things. And it said, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. You can either approve all of them, the entire plan, or do them one at a time. This is the exact same thing. The first couple of times you'll do it with your employee that is building courses for you, doing lead generation for you, marking assignments for you, doing research for you. The first couple times you'll have it come back, check to see if it's okay. If it's happy the next time, if you're happy with it, don't have it checked. Just let it go on and carry on and do the next step. But that back and forth, getting the good employee that is perfectly trainable. With an AI employee, you never have any issues with whether or not you like the person or not, or they don't have the right company culture. It's your ability to actually talk and converse in natural language with them that makes a difference. And getting those outputs that you want in terms of whether it is a document or a complete course or marketing emails, social media posts. Again, communicating that. What is it that you want for this employee to do? Is it the marketing department? Is it the course content department? Is it the admin department? Is it the HR department? but this whole business structure and doing the things that we don't want to do is about natural language communication skill. And I think, the cool thing that's here for us as an example is if you get a handle on just being good at communicating, that employee or the employees, the part that's going to stop you from growing or you being successful is your ability to communicate what it is that you want from the AI tools. It has nothing to do from technology anymore. It has nothing to do from knowledge. It has to do with how creative can you be and how effective you can be as a communicator. This is a super, super, super exciting time. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make these documents available to you, some examples on how they get used. But I just want you to think about, do I need another list of prompts or do I need a whole bunch of different ways to prompt? No, I think you need natural language prompting where you basically treat all of these AI tools as someone who works for you. So get really good at being clear and giving good instructions to these employees, and this is going to make a huge difference in how your business moves forward. Now, if you haven't already, what I'm going to do in the next video is I want to share with you why I think teachers are the ones that are best positioned to make probably there's a renaissance for teachers coming, and I'm going to share why I think they're in a great position to actually generate huge revenues because in many instances they are very good at doing what we were just talking about. So pay attention to the next video. If you haven't already, join the community. This is my community library on my campus. It's free to join. All of my content is there, including all of the notes and stuff that I did here today. Like and subscribe to the channel. Put your comments in below. Let me know what you're thinking about, whether you agree, disagree. And just next time you're going to ask something from AI, just kind of figure out, if this was an employee, what would I do? If this was someone working for me, how would I explain it? Don't get hung up with the prompts and engineering some fancy prompt and hope that it works because someone told you it's the best prompt. How would you explain it to your employee? My name is James, trainingsites.io. Take care and expect the best. I'll be back a couple minutes with another great video to help you start, build, and grow your education business.